Hey everyone, today we're going to dive into something we all think we know, comedy. But what if I told you its real job, its secret purpose, is way more important than just making you laugh?
So let's just ask it straight up. What is comedy's actual job? I mean, why have we humans, in every single culture across all of history, spent so much time and energy just being silly, telling jokes and trying to make each other laugh?
Well, here's the thing. It's not just for kicks. Laughter is actually one of our oldest and honestly one of our most effective social survival tools. It's this powerful, super low-cost bit of technology that literally keeps us from breaking. So let's break down how this incredible social tool really works.
Okay, so the key to understanding all of this is to think of comedy as a kind of social safety valve. Yeah, a safety valve. It's a mechanism that we, as societies, have basically evolved to handle one of the most dangerous things out there: tension.
This is what researchers call the strain release framework. And the idea is pretty simple, right? All of us and our society as a whole are constantly building up strain. I mean, think about the frustration of being stuck in traffic, or the sheer absurdity of some crazy news story, or just that general anxiety we all feel about, well, everything. Comedy is the special tool that lets us release that pressure safely before it hits a boiling point and leads to something much, much worse.
And this shows you exactly how it works in practice. It's really just a simple three-step process. First, the strain builds up. A terrible day at work, a tense family dinner, whatever. Second, comedy steps in. A perfectly timed joke points out how ridiculous the whole thing is. And third, and this is the magic part, through that shared laugh, all that built-up tension just evaporates. It prevents a big fight or a total meltdown.
And get this isn't just some abstract social idea. It's biological. It's real. When we laugh, it actually triggers a powerful chemical reaction in our brains that sends a signal to our entire nervous system saying, hey, we're safe. The danger's gone.
Just take a look at this chart. It's pretty fascinating. You can see how different our other responses to strain are. Violence, that floods our system with stress hormones like adrenaline. Rituals, they create stability with bonding chemicals. But comedy's effect is completely unique. It gives us a hit of dopamine, the feel-good chemical, and endorphins, which are our body's own natural painkillers. So it's a release that not only feels good, but it also signals safety.
So if comedy is a safety valve, what are the actual tools that a comedian, or, any of us, uses to open it up? Turns out there are a few very specialized instruments for handling different kinds of social pressure.
And just to put this all into perspective, look at how incredibly efficient comedy is. I mean, compared to the really high cost of violence, which just breaks things, or the way ritual just kind of contains things, comedy is the only tool that actually resolves tension and builds social bonds at the same time. Okay, so what are these tools? Let's start with the first one.
Tool number one is satire. Its main job is to go after power, authority, and hypocrisy. You know that feeling of moral outrage you get at an unfair system or a leader who's just completely out of touch? Well, satire, think of shows like Saturday Night Live or The Daily Show, gives us a symbolic way to vent that anger, which helps stop it from boiling over into real-world aggression. All right, tool number two is dark humor. Now this one is for the really heavy stuff: trauma, fear, all the things we're not supposed to talk about. And its incredible function is to take pure existential terror and somehow transform it into something absurd and manageable. It's the tool that keeps our minds from just collapsing under the weight of it all. And finally, we've got the most universal tool of all, slapstick. Its target? The human body itself. How clumsy we are, how fragile we are, how little control we have. By laughing at someone slipping on a banana peel, we're releasing this deep, fundamental tension we have about how little control we really have. It's a reminder not to take ourselves too seriously.
But, of course, this safety valve can break. It can malfunction. We've all been there, right? That feeling when a joke doesn't just fall flat, it causes real pain. So what happens when the valve breaks?
This right here is the critical difference between what you could call aggressive comedy and what is just plain harassment. So aggressive comedy, like a friendly roast, is still trying to release strain for the whole group. But harassment, it does the exact opposite. It concentrates all that strain onto one person with the goal of intimidating them. So the crucial thing to ask is, which way is the strain flowing? Is it spreading out and disappearing, or is it being focused inward to hurt? So what actually determines where that line is? Well, it's a mix of a few things. Consent, as you can see, is the biggest piece of the puzzle, but power dynamics are also hugely important.
Is the joke punching up at someone in power, or is it punching down on someone who's vulnerable? And maybe most importantly, is it reversible? Can the person who's the butt of the joke laugh it off and joke right back? Or does it leave a real mark? That's often where the true line is.
Okay, let's bring this all together. Why does this whole idea of comedy as a safety valve really matter? Well, because it shows us that laughter isn't just some nice little extra, it's the essential glue that holds our society together.
At the end of the day, comedy is our society's approved way of dealing with our worst impulses. It takes that desire for revenge, that frustration, that anger, and as this quote really nails it, turns it into a shared, symbolic experience that doesn't blow up into real violence.
When you boil it all down, that's comedy's secret job. It's this incredibly efficient, high-speed piece of social technology that keeps us resilient. It lets us look at painful truths, work through conflict, and let off steam, making sure our relationships and our societies can bend without actually breaking.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. The last time you had a really, really good laugh, what tension was it releasing for you? Was it frustration, fear, maybe just some awkwardness? Once you start looking for it, you'll see this amazing social tool working everywhere. Thanks for digging into this with me.